Okay, so kita sambung lagi. Kita dah tahu macam mana how to identify a function by using vertical line test, how to identify a one-to-one function by using horizontal line test or algebraic method. So kita dah tahu macam mana nak cari domain and range for graphical. So which is domain left to right, range down to up. Okay, so now dekat sini saya ada tulis, if you want to find a domain and range, you have to know how to sketch a graph. Okay, graph dia tak akan bagi, kamu kena lukis. Okay, the question will say sketch the graph and find the domain and range. Okay, so as you can see from here, kat sini saya ada bagi dekat JC basic graph. Okay, there are 10 basic graph. We have a linear constant function, linear function, quadratic function, absolute value function, cubic function, reciprocal or rational, square root function. We have exponential, and then we have logarithm function, and mana last one? Kita ada piecewise function. Okay, semua 9 graph ni bersatu menjadi piecewise function. So there are 10 graph that you are supposed to know how to sketch. Okay, mesti kena tahu, wajib kena tahu. Paling tidak pun mesti kena tahu apa shape graph tu, basic shape graph tu. Okay, so for sketching, okay, let's put it here lah. Basically, sketching mesti wajib menggunakan pencil. Okay, so normally you will get 3 marks for sketching. Okay, 3 mark for sketching without determine domain dengan range lah. Okay, so apakah 3 marks dekat situ, which is the first one is correct shape, and the second one is your x and y coordinate. Okay, x y coordinate ataupun intercept dekat situ, and the last one is all correct with x and y axis. Okay, when you draw your graph, mesti kena tulis x axis dengan y axis. Basically, kita tulis contoh macam ni. Ini ialah a constant graph. Kita lukis. Okay, mesti kena ada x axis, y axis. Tanpa x dengan y axis, dia bukanlah graph, dia hanyalah huruf T. Okay, so make sure bila kita lukis graph, always write your x axis and y axis. Alright, so for this video, we are going to see the first 2 function. We are going to sketch the first 2 function, which is constant function and linear function. So, okay, graph mesti kena guna pencil. Okay, so constant function, very simple. We have, let's say, fx is equals to -3. Okay, apakah x in R ni? This is your domain basically. Okay, domain kita yang kita belajar sebelum ni. Kalau the state domain is from -infinity to infinity, this is the same as real number. Okay, so if the question said as x is in a real number, that means your domain is from -infinity to infinity lah. Okay, so let's draw fx equals to -3, a constant graph. So kita ada axis kita. Okay, whenever you write your axis, the first thing is tulis x dengan y. Okay, kalau tak tulis x dengan y ni, tak akan dapat markah. Okay, so now we have padam pula. Okay, so we have fx equals to -3, x is y, benda yang sama. So we have y is equals to -3. So basically just draw y equals to -3 kat sini. Y equals to -3. Okay, so whenever you sketch your graph, just write the domain and range. So we have domain kita. Okay, as I said earlier, we know that this is our domain. So domain kita ialah real number. Ataupun if you want to write -infinity to infinity pun tak ada masalah. Okay, so the range is, kita tahu kalau nak cari range from down to up. Okay, tak ada function, tak ada function, tak ada function, function, tak ada function, tak ada function, tak ada function. So your range is satu sahaja, nama pun constant graph, nama pun constant. So your range hanyalah dekat -3 sahaja. So mesti kena tulis macam tu, curly bracket -3 sahaja. Okay, so that is for constant graph lah. So let's see for question B, fx equals to 4. Tapi kalau kita tengok dekat sini, dia ada bagi domain kat kita. X is between 0 and 3 included. Okay, so dekat sini kena hati-hati sikit lah. Okay, so let's draw our axis. So whenever you draw your axis, just always write x dengan y. Okay, kalau kita ada fx equals to 4, basically sebenarnya graph kita macam ni. Okay, saya lukislah. Graf kita fx equals to 4. This is fx equals to 4. Y equals to 4. Tetapi dekat sini dia kata from 0 to 3 sahaja. So 0 is here. Your x equals to 0. 3 is here. So kita tak nak 0 kat sini. 0 kat sini tak ada equal. So maksudnya dia open. Okay, so kat sini open. 3 kat sini equal. So maksudnya 3 dekat sini ialah close. Okay, so yang kita nak hanyalah yang di sini sahaja. Selain daripada tu kita tak nak, so kita padam. Okay, kita tak nak, kita padam. So this is a constant graph when x is between 0 dengan 3. Okay, so how to write the domain? Basically apa yang dia bagi, itulah domain kita. 0 not included, maksudnya open. 3 close. So range macam apa yang saya cakap, kalau dia constant, ini sahaja range kita, which is dekat 4 sahaja. So curly bracket 4. Right, so that is how you draw your constant function. Sama jugalah kalau x equals to something, benda yang sama, lebih kurang sama. So now linear function. So linear, first apa yang kita kena tahu ialah basic shape kita. Okay, basic shape, and then we need to know the x-intercept and y-intercept. Okay, dalam apa-apa graph, these are the two things that you have to know before you draw, before you sketch a graph. Okay, so basic shape untuk linear graph kita tahu ada dua je. Okay, basic shape kita sama ada kat sini positif, macam ni dia positif, macam ni dia negatif. Betul? Okay, so let's see fx equals to 3x minus 4. So we have our domain here. X is in real number. Okay, so apa benda yang dekat belakang tu, itu ialah domain kita. So now we want to determine the shape. So the shape here, dekat sini x kita positif. So kanan lah. Okay, ini. Okay, just buat kecil je, Itu ialah kita punya basic shape. Okay, so second thing here is we have to find the x-intercept and y-intercept. Okay, how to find x-intercept? Your x-intercept is when your y is equals to 0. Okay, so your y-intercept pula bila x equals to 0. So benda ni kena ingat lah. Okay, you are going to find this everywhere in the sketching graph. Okay, how to find x-intercept? Y is equals to 0. Y-intercept, x is equals to 0. Okay, so let's find our x-intercept here. So y is equals to 0, y dengan fx benda yang sama lah. So we will have 3x minus 4 equals to 0. And we will have x is equals to 4 over 3. Okay, so y-intercept, y is equals to 3 times 0 minus 4, which is we're going to get negative 4. Okay, so we have everything that we have. So we have everything that we need. So let's draw our linear function. Okay, macam saya cakap, every time you draw your axis, x dengan y. Okay, saya takkan bertimbang rasa kalau siapa tak tulis x dengan y memang akan 0. Bukan 0 lah, saya tolak lah satu markah dekat situ sebab dia tak all correct. Okay, so we know the basic shape is like this. So sama ada dia dekat sini ataupun dia dekat sini, kita akan prefer to x-intercept dengan y-intercept kita lah. So x-intercept is 4 over 3. So let's say here is 4 over 3. Y-intercept is negative 4. Let's say here is negative 4. So graph will be looking like this. Okay, alright. Tak kena. Okay, kalau tak kena tak ada masalah, kita padam, kita lukis balik. Okay, 4 over 3 dah. Alright, so ada satu lagi benda yang kena tulis. Mesti kena label graph kita. 3x minus 4. Okay, so your marks dekat basic shape betul. Basic shape betul. X-intercept, Y-intercept betul. All correct termasuk Y. X-axis dengan label. Okay, then you get full marks there. Okay, so let's determine our domain dengan range here. So domain from left to right, which is here negative infinity to infinity, or real number. So range down to up. Okay, this one sama juga, negative infinity to infinity. So that should be a real number as well. Okay, so that is the first question for linear function. Let's see the second one. Kita ada negative 2x plus 5. And be careful, dekat sini dia ada bagi domain dekat kita, which is from negative 1 to 4. Okay, so first thing first, we have to determine the shape of our graph. So depan x kita ialah negative. So we know that the shape is like this. Okay, ke kiri. Alright. So second thing is we have to find our x-intercept, y-intercept. So x-intercept is when y equals to 0. So negative 2x plus 5 is equals to 0. So we should have x is equals to 5 over 2. Okay, and then we want to find y-intercept when x equals to 0. So we should have y equals to negative 2 times 0 plus 5, which is we will have 5. Okay, so we have x-intercept, we have y-intercept. Okay, kalau sebelum ni kita terus lukis graf, tapi dekat sini tak boleh lagi. Ingat, soalan ada bagi condition dekat sini ataupun domain dekat kita. So apa yang kita kena buat, kita kena substitute domain dalam function kita. Alright, so when x is equals to negative 1, apa jadi dekat y kita? Substitute kan, kita akan dapat 7. Okay, so when x is equals to 4, we are going to get negative 3 dekat situ. So ini domain dengan range yang kamu kena take note lah. Okay, mesti kena take note dekat sini. Alright, so let's draw our graph. Let's sketch our graph here. Kita lukis axis kita. We have x-axis, we have y-axis. So what is our intercept? 5 over 2 dengan 5. So we should have 5 here, we should have 5 over 2 here. Okay, tak perlulah pakai kertas graph, nama pun sketch. Tak perlu, kita bukan plot, kita just sketch. Kamu agak je dekat mana. Sini ialah 1, 2, 3. Tak perlu tulis juga 1, 2. Tak perlu tulis. Okay, kita agak je. So here graph should be looking like this. Okay, alright. Tetapi sekarang ingat kita ada domain kita. So when x is equals to negative 1, y is equals to 7. When x is equals to negative 1, y is equals to 7. Okay, lebih kurang lah 7 dekat sini. Okay, balik semula dekat kita punya yang kita highlight tadi. So ini, okay, negative 1 kuning. Ini negative 1, open. So kita kena letak open dekat sini. Okay, so 4 dekat situ, 4 close. So sini mesti close. Okay, when x equals to 4, when x equals to 4, 4 sebelah sini ke sebelah sini? 4 lebih daripada 5 over 2. So 4 dekat sini. When x is equals to 4, y is equals to negative 3. Negative 3. Okay, which is kat sini close. So yang selebih daripada tu, line yang lebih daripada ni, kita akan padamkan dia. Okay, so this is your linear function with domain from negative 1 to 4. Okay, so label kita punya function fx equals to negative 2x plus 5. And then let's state our domain. So be careful, kat sini domain dia akan jadi berbeza sikit. Domain dah diberi kan kat sini, negative 1 to 4, which is negative 1 open, 4 close. Okay, so range pula. Range kita tengok daripada bawah ke atas. So tak ada function. The function starts here. Okay, which is close. Start at negative 3. So that should be negative 3 close. Sampai mana ni? Here, 7. Which is 7 is open. 7 open. Okay, so that is how we do our linear function and constant function. Okay.